back to Houndtable episode 6. My name is Sam, otherwise known as Preyhound, otherwise known as Kid the Web, if you really know. And, God, my mouth is dry. That's what's up. And this is my weekly talk show where I come on and I talk about lyrics, diary stuff, books, projects, personal and creative, coding sometimes, gigging, touring, tarot occasionally, and yeah, I just yap. It's a good video to have on while you get ready for your day or do some chores or finally clean your bath mat or something like that, because it's probably disgusting right now, because I know mine is, and my towels. They all smell like old lady. Not that that's a bad smell, it's just, well, they don't even smell like old lady. That's too nice. They smell like old guy. Smell like just sweaty ball. And there's not even a ball in my household. Besides a football. Anyway. I hope we're all doing well this week. My week was pretty good. Last week, it actually started very poorly and got worse and then ended very nicely. I had a wonderful weekend with all my friends. Wrote some music. Saw some music. This little sock monkey that I made without a face. And yeah, I've just been a combination of really, really hard on myself this week. And now I think approaching easier on myself. Because we could all be a little easier on ourselves, I think. Anyway, the first thing I do for Houndtable is a lyric review. And today, I chose the lyrics to my favorite song of all time, I Wish, by Skee-lo, released God, when the hell was this released? A long time ago. Sorry, I know Skee-lo's still, kicking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean a long time ago. I meant 1995. Oh, it wasn't even that long ago. 1995. And it's basically just he wishes he was very different than who he is. But it's in a way that's funny and not... funny, but at the same time, really real and honest, while not being too self-deprecating. There's so many songs out there that are about, I wish I was someone different than who I am, but I feel like songs like that often have a bit of obviously a sad undertone, or a bit of self-loathing going on, whereas this song, I appreciate it so much, first of all, because the beat is crazy, and Skee-lo's flow is unmatched, but second of all, because the lyrical content, he's almost laughing a little. He's like, dang, there's so many things about my life that I wish were so different. I just kind of have to laugh about it. And even in the beginning of the song, it's kind of like a radio show almost. You hear somebody on the line going hello, welcome, we're making all your wacky wishes come true. And Skee-lo himself picks up and he goes, hello? And then he starts listing everything that he wishes he was. And it's funny. It's the momentum never stops. It makes you laugh. It also makes you think. It makes you go dang, well, he's so cool right now. Singing, rapping this song. He's fine just as he is. And you kind of apply that to yourself as well. Anyway, so here are the lyrics. And I won't do them justice because unless I'm singing a folk song, I'm afraid I don't have flow. So I'm just going to do a dramatic reading because that's how much this song means to me. It's my favorite song. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Impala. I wish I was 6'9", so I could get with Leoshi. She don't know me, but Yoshi's really fine. I see her all the time, everywhere I go. And even in my dreams, I can scheme of ways to make her mine. 'Cause I know she's living fat. Her boyfriend's tall and he plays ball, so how am I gonna compete with that? 'Cause when it comes to playing basketball, I'm always last to get picked. And in some cases, never picked at all. So I just lean up on the wall, or sit up in the bleachers with the rest of the girls who came to watch they man ball. And there's more. But just like, he's listing all these things and he's like, man, I never get picked to play basketball because I'm short. Oh man, there's this girl I'm in love with and her boyfriend's like handsome and tall and really good at sports and he always is first to get, he's team captain. You know, so it's kind of harkening back to like the schoolyard feeling of like getting picked last in gym. I don't know. It's kind of like, it just touches on, because I don't know, one of the spines, the backbones of Los Angeles is black music. Specifically, like, this style, like, rap. Especially from, like, in the late 90s, dude. Los Angeles rap. That was where it was at. You know? And I think that this song is just that era encapsulated. The sound, the lyrical content. It's peak LA. So, it's pretty fun. Not even pretty fun, it's awesome fun. And I think it, at the end of, and not to be too sincere about this song, but I love it. I think that it, I don't know, everybody wishes they were someone else. And the whole point of the song is, once the song is over, he's hanging up with the radio guy and he knows that nothing's gonna like change, but he has the freedom to imagine it that way, and he also has the freedom to kind of go like, well, I just gotta be the best at being me. Boom. Boom. And yeah, that's the lyric review for today. And the next is the diary reading, where I usually read a page out of my diary, but I want to read a passage. I actually want to read my close friend's story, if you'll allow me, because it really was a doozy the other day, and I think that the people need to know. You know? So, I just was like having a day. This was way earlier in the week. I was on one. And I post on my story, I say, it's a screenshot of like, it's a picture of my face, just absolutely disheveled, with text completely covering it. And I say, the internal scorekeeping of how many times I've said the word I during a conversation to make sure I'm not hijacking every conversation, and making it about me like Carrie Bradshaw is so exhausting, you guys. And then I post, I don't know, like how to converse normally without feeling like I'm secretly evil and making everyone uncomfortable. It's an impossible challenge. And then, third post, in the span of maybe 10 minutes. At the end of the day, you have to trust that those around you would tell you if you did something they didn't like. And if they wouldn't, they probably shouldn't be a close friend. And then I put my phone down and I didn't look at it for hours. And when I came back, I saw that all of my buddies that were on that story, liked one to all of them. And it, you know, like, it's not about the likes, it's about the fact that, like, my friends on my, you know, on my story, like, they get what I mean. They get what I mean about feeling like you're secretly evil, or feeling like you're making everybody uncomfortable for just, like, existing, and stuff like that. It's just like a blah, whatever. And then I post, because of that, because I saw how many of my friends were like, yeah, I understand, I get it. I say, and I posted this when I was sitting on the toilet, I say, I got a lot of story likers today. Feels good to feel understood. We're in this together. None of you are secretly evil, and all of you are lovely conversationalists. So it makes me feel like maybe I'm all good too. And I think that that's good for the diary entry this week because that kind of reads like a diary, you know? You open your diary, you start writing out all your thoughts, and you're like, I'm terrible, I'm horrible, I'm awful, and then you start analyzing, and you're like, well, maybe I should just trust in those around me more, and then at the end of it, you really kind of work it out, and you feel better. A close friend story and a diary are both for throwing a thought against the wall and feeling better about it after doing so. Pretty much, I would say. Guys. Oh, and also, a little bit about my diary and how it will be changing in the coming weeks is I'm going to have diary entries on my website, on my HTML website, preyhound.neocities.org. And there won't really be much of a schedule for my diary entries. I'll just post them when I feel it. But yeah, they're going to exist on there, so you can go and read my entries, and if you would like to, there's a guest book, so you can make your own and send it, and it'll just be up on my website. So you can have a part in it as well if you would like to. I'm trying to put out my first entry in like the middle of March because it's a little crazy right now, and who knows, maybe I'll put it out sooner. Guys, you're gonna be so disappointed, but that's okay. I did not read the first chapter of The Villager like I wanted to. I just didn't. First chapter of Villager by Tom Cox. So last week I was like, I want to... God, where the fuck did I put that book? So last week I was like, my goal for the week is to read one chapter of Villager by Tom Cox. And I didn't. So what can you do? This is where you'll be disappointed in me, though. I bought a new book. Oh! I had never actually read and comprehended Romeo and Juliet. I bought Romeo and Juliet because I read it in 7th grade, and I had bigger fish to fry, so none of this I really ingested. And I just kind of feel like reading something very dramatic right now, and I'm like, I'm hitting a wall with the sci-fi. I can't get myself to start this other book. I don't know, maybe I'll give this a chance and it'll get me back into the reading flow. I don't know, it's a bit of a mess right now, but I'm trying. To all the readers out there, and actually to every single person out there that has read anything before, you understand this feeling. I bet. Just I don't know. It's hard to get back into it sometimes. Even though when I am with a good book, it's the best feeling in the world. When I can't keep my hands off a book because it's so good, it's the best feeling, but it's been few and far between these days. Trying to get that back. I did read the first sentence of Villager by Tom Cox, though, and I actually put it down. Wait, no, I need to talk about this. Because the first sentence made me feel really, exposed. And that's the thing, I'm kind of I think that this book might be a very emotional journey for me, and I read the first page and I went, oof. In a good way. Don't worry, Tom Cox, I'm loving it. And this is the first page of this book. It's a heavy day, and it hangs all over me. I'm deep in it. I'm so far in it, I'm technically invisible, unless you're extremely near to me, and very few people are. I read those, that was 3 sentences, actually. I read those 3 sentences, and I went, okay. I need to be ready to read this book. I don't know. Not that I need to be ready to read this book, but it definitely impacted me, and I was like, ooh. I feel like already at this point in my life, my emotions are very close to the surface, so today, I guess I wasn't in the mood to feel very, emotionally ripped open by a book. Sue me, I don't know. Don't. Okay, so the next thing I talk about usually is the projects that are going on. And one thing I really am excited to talk about is some updates I did on my website. So I'm going to transition you over to my screen. and we're gonna look at it. So some updates I did is I changed the music player. Wait, I'm gonna go to main page. I changed the music player, and when you hit it, it plays one of my songs. And you can click the CD to stop it. I added a view counter, which I think is so fun. And this little dog. Of course, the dog's name is Greyhound. My welcome page and everything is still the same. But where I really did add some changes is on my diary page that I was just talking about earlier. Click on the creepy dungeon entrance, climb into the belly of the beast, and take a look at what it eats. And obviously I don't have the entry yet, like I said, but it goes to a whole other page with an Adventure Time background and little eyes looking at you, and you can just press right on the logo to get back home. I also added This Is Crazy, guys. I told you I added my guest book. It looks very cool. I don't know who meowed all day long, but thanks. This is what I want to show you. On my comics page, which is very in the works, the only thing I have on it is a little pet. Kid the Web. This is Kid the Web, and you can pet him and say hello.
Hello?
And, this is called Giphy Pet. It was made by MK. You should totally go check it out. It is so endlessly customizable. And yeah, I'm just having a really good time, doing this because, I don't know, it's something creative that is just a different form of creativity. I don't know. I've been appreciating it a lot because... and also down in the description I'll have links to like every YouTube channel that I looked at to help make that. Because there are some great tutorial tubers out there that you should absolutely check out, because I think that starting to transition off of platforms like Wix and stuff like that is just the best way to go, because you realize how it helps you realize how endlessly customizable like your online image could be, and also it takes the power away from platforms whose values may be fucked, or who just want to take as much of your money as possible, and instead do it yourself and learn how to do it yourself and learn a new skill while you're at it, and for free too. Did I mention NeoCities is absolutely free? Yep. Anyway, as far as live shows go, I actually have quite a few coming up in March. If you've watched this before, you know that I play bass in a girl rock, in like a 90s rock, PJ Harvey type project, for an artist called Jesse Detour, and I love playing in that band. It's so much fun. We have a show on the 8th of March in Santa Ana. It's called a Women's Day show. It's got a great lineup. The other people who are playing are called Flesh for Fantasy, Heart Shaped Locket, and Anna's Jinx. I'm very excited to play with them and hear them, and also play myself and just rock out with the buddies. You know, it's gonna be great in Santa Ana on the 8th. And then just after that, on March 13th, I'm playing a show at Harvard and Stone in Hollywood. It's presented by Third Eye Shut again, Ethan. The other people on the bill are The Departures, Minko, and a boy named Madeline. Very excited for that. Also going to include all that information because you should totally be there. Yeah. Hell yeah. And then at the end of the month, I'll keep you updated with more information, but Jess and the crew are going to be ending up back on the East Coast. Woo, 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 woo. Jesse Detour and the crew back on the East Coast. It's been a while. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's kind of all the creative projects I've been working on lately. I'm trying to do like a live session, but dude, setting up for a live session can be so freaking annoying sometimes. It's just all the stuff. All the stuff I have to make sure I don't knock over, like all the cables all tangled. And that's just me, like I need to manage my cables better, but dude, not my fave. Next, I tend to talk about more like personal projects, less so than creative projects that I've been stewing on in the past week, and the biggest one that has been changing my life, and it sounds so stupid, but it's made a world of a difference, is I'm changing the layout of my like to-do lists and my whiteboard that I look at to get shit done. Because I was realizing I was just not ranking anything by priority. Because you know when you have a to-do list and you include things you want to do, things you have to do, things you could do, but it doesn't really matter if you don't get to them. And I was just putting all of those together and also adding crazy times like 12 p.m. do this, 1 p.m., 1:30, and also adding like quantities, like make 3 videos and write 2 songs. I'm like, dude, the fact that none of it is ranked by priority, all of it has quantities and times, I'm literally just setting myself up for disappointment and failure and like to feel bad about myself because obviously I'm not going to get all that done. I'm not just going to wake up and be a person who can get like 40 hyper specific individual time consuming tasks done in one day. Like that's just not feasible for anyone. And so it's the silliest thing, but I've started ranking all of my to-do lists and like think tasks to get done during the day in 4 categories. Want to do, could do, should do, and must do. You know? And then that way, if I don't get to all of them, it's like, that's fine. That's in the could do category. I didn't really need to get to that anyway. Should do, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's a should do, so I should try to get to it tomorrow. Must do, you gotta do it. And it makes it way easier because there's less opportunity for failure. And when you're just living your daily life, anything you can do that isn't... Because that's a slippery slope if you're like, I want to avoid chances that I'll fail. Because then you're like, you'll never take risks, you'll never go out and try new things, you'll never learn something new. Because those are all things that inevitably at a certain point you will fail. You know? Or like you'll never make new friends. There's failure in all of that. But that doesn't mean you should avoid it. I mean like for simple day-to-day things, like doing chores or writing a to-do list. You should do everything you can to avoid unnecessary pitfalls or feelings of disappointment in yourself or failure. Because, like, there are so many other opportunities in your day-to-day life to experience failure. It doesn't need to be in the mundane shit, you know? So that's that. And it's actually been really working, and I've been able to get through more tasks in a day. Also, I deleted Instagram off my phone, and that's done wonders for me because I don't get trapped in the hole anymore. But I still didn't read, you know? My reason for not reading this week, because it hasn't been because of Instagram, it's just been, I don't know. But, I did buy Romeo and Juliet because I really am wanting to get into Shakespeare. Because I looked up and I watched this week, what's his name? He played Moriarty in Sherlock. And the hot priest in Fleabag. God, he's like really hot. Andrew Scott. Okay, Andrew Scott. I was watching videos of Andrew Scott performing Shakespeare like monologues and stuff. Dude, when he does them, I'm like, oh, it makes so much more sense. You know, the meaning and the rhythm. I'm like, dang, this is awesome and so dramatic. Dude, that guy was a diva. And it's making me... And I remember also when I was living in Boston, I saw a performance of Macbeth just in the Boston Commons. And it was so amazing. So I don't know. I've just been very interested in Shakespeare, I guess. So maybe that's the thing that will finally get me back into reading. She says for the 8,000th time. Anyway, my next personal project sounds stupid again. I want to get a pair of flats. You know the last time I've owned a pair of flats? It's 5th grade. And I spent 5th grade until now being like, no, those are the stupidest shoe that's ever existed. No, dude. I want a cute pair of flats. I don't know. Maybe I've been watching Pretty Little Liars a little too much. But I think some flats would be great. With a pair of, like, jeans that like, capris, it's cute. Come on. So I'll keep you updated. Um, my next project, and I've been doing this all week, bring toys places. Because it's a great conversation starter. It keeps me feeling like, oh, I have something with me that makes me happy and that I'm familiar with. And it's just fun. Like, I went to go see this orchestra perform. Actually, Santa Monica Community Orchestra Nova. Go check them out. I saw them perform this past Sunday. And I brought a toy. I brought one of my littlest pet shops. I brought this guy. And it was great. It was in this, like, I think, like, this Lutheran church. And at one point, I just put him up on the pew. He's watching too. And I just love it. And I also brought this to work at the coffee shop I work at. And I put it right next to my little name tag. And people were coming up to get their coffees. And they were like, oh, I haven't seen one of those in forever. And we got to talking. And I let them, like, hold it and play with it and stuff. And, go back down memory lane and whatever. And, yeah, I'm just realizing, bring toys places. 2026, more toys. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. You can fit a Littlest Pet Shop or like any little tiny action figure or whatever in any bag. Dude, the kids were onto something. Oh, my next personal project. I'm a car owner for the first time, and it's just so stressful. I have an appointment tomorrow at the dealership, and I'm just like kind of shaking in my boots. I don't know. I'm a little nervous for it. But, I'm a big kid. I can do it. Speaking of big kid activities, I'm pursuing therapy. Because there are certain things you want to vent about that would have consequence if you vented about them to people you care about and who care about you, because it would be cause for concern. Whereas it's, maybe a little better to talk about and unload that onto somebody who's paid to listen to it, um, and actually has tools that can help you, I guess. But first of all, I have to get insured first. So wish me luck. Type luck. Another personal project, I might be going to the beach tomorrow with a few buddies, so that would be fun. If I do, my mission is to find an umbrella, because the sun around these parts is no joke. And yeah. And also, it's just like you spend too much time at the beach all just in the beating sun. You want to be able to just step away from it for a second. Jeez. Oh, and this is my last project I wanted to talk about. This week I've had a lot of trouble starting and just doing shit, like basic tasks. And something that has worked and gotten me through the week in a really funny way is when I do tasks, the motivation comes from kind of pretending, playing pretend in my mind while I'm doing the task. Like if I'm cleaning my kitchen, if I'm just myself cleaning my kitchen, it feels like absolutely impossible and I can't do it. But if I pretend that I'm like, I don't know, a barkeep in the, I don't know, I don't even know, a barkeep in the Victorian countryside cleaning up after a busy day, and I turn the lights down low and I like just like kind of pretend or something, it honestly makes it easier, Or if I can't find the motivation to drive to my rehearsal space to practice, I just pretend I'm delivering something that nobody else can find out about. Like, oh, I'm delivering like an organ in my trunk. That sounds crazy. No, that sounds crazy. But that's kind of a dark example. But just the playing pretend of like, oh, I'm driving and I'm like, it just adds a little bit of play to help combat the... Is mundanity? That's not a word. Oh, okay. Well, to combat the mundanity of day-to-day life. You just have to play pretend, I suppose. I'm seriously, I'm just learning all these lessons that I already knew when I was a kid and stopped doing, and I'm just having to learn how to do them again. So it is kind of silly, but also at the same time kind of comforting because everything I need, I've already learned. No, that's not true. Like, I'm constantly learning new stuff, but everything that I need fundamentally within me, it's already there. And either I forgot it or I just haven't unlocked it yet. And it's a comforting thought, you know? And those are all my personal projects. A lot of them are just thinking and just like more not a project of action, more a project of the soul, I guess. And honestly, in my last video I didn't do a tarot reading because I just haven't really been into it. To be so honest, I just haven't been into it. I haven't been really into the things that I sometimes really like to do. Like, I haven't done yoga in a while, I haven't meditated in a while, I haven't touched these in a while. So, gentle, getting back into it. What can I take from this month into the next month? And what can I leave behind? That's a good question. Okay, what can I take from this month into the next month? And what can I leave behind? Yeah. And also I'm going to restate, if you have never seen this before, the way I do it is a little more, is less based in, I don't really subscribe to the fact that the cards are revealing themselves to me, and I go for a bit more of a meaning that I gather based on aesthetics. Like, I look at the art on the cards and quite literally, like, maybe the colors, or and that I think that is a popular way to read, more based in what the art suggests. Like what way someone's facing, whether a horse is running or standing still. And I think that's a very popular way, but mine is based in like a tool for self-reflection rather than tool, I think, for divination. But maybe they're one and the same. Who knows? Let me know what you think. Anyway, and the way I like to read it, my friend Chase showed me this way, is you just shuffle until something falls out. And I like to have a little more structure, so I say I stop when a really significant major arcana card comes out. You know, something that just like either feels significant or it's like a really just good card, you know, I stop. Okay, so 2 fell out. What can I bring from this month into the next, and what can I leave behind? Okay, so I've got a 10 of Pentacles and an 8 of Cups. See, this feels very clear as to which card is which. This guy's literally walking away from these cups. So I'm kind of thinking this might be a leave behind. And everybody's just kind of like gathered in the presence of these pentacles, you know, and all angled inwards, except for this guy. So this might be a bring with me. Maybe. I mean, maybe I'm this guy and he's also faced away. I think I need more cards before I can figure that out. See? Like, it's kind of fun to read it that way. Because then there's no real wrong answer. Because the cards do have meanings, but at the same time, if you're using it as a tool for self-reflection, it's less about what the meanings in the book are and more about what the images on the card, what associations with your own life or your own experiences that you make. You know? It could be anything. Who's to say if you're doing it wrong or right? Oh, Jesus. Alright. These 2 cards popped out. This is going to be kind of a long one. See, this kind of feels like a meeting of the minds. Like they're observing this scroll, they're talking about it, they're planning, you know, they're collaborating. This kind of feels like it's very, I guess, self-explanatory. Knives through the heart. Maybe this could suggest that I need to let go of some pain I've been holding on to. You know? I'm kind of combined with this. Whenever I look at cups, I think of the cup being full. And sometimes it conjures up, it kind of makes me think about a goal or like success, you know? Because if the cup is full, your cup is overflowing, you know? You're successful. But in this art, the cups seem to be empty, and he's turning towards a river full of water. And so maybe it could be he was trying to capture the river in a cup, and that's not how the river works, and you just have to flow with it instead of trying to control it, instead of trying to contain it, you know? Because I think I've tried to be very categorical with, like, my to-do lists. Oh my god, like, very quantity, time, you know, very categorical about, I guess, and hyper analytical about the speed at which I should be progressing in my careers and my social relationships. It's just been entirely too much based in control and containment of success. And that could be success in anything. Success in career, success in relationships, success in finances. When instead, I think maybe the road to success is a little more wild, is a little more, you have to traverse a few more rocks and stuff like that. You can't contain the current in a cup. That's kind of what this is showing. Yeah. Wow, that's kind of cool. These are still unclear to me. I think that maybe I could read this as, again, a meeting of the minds. Like, this month I've collaborated, like, artistically with some friends of mine, and maybe that's something that I want to bring into the next month. Absolutely. This just kind of feels like the general gathering of community. This old fella right here maybe suggests generations. That could suggest maybe like family. I have talked to my mom and dad like way more this month than the previous month, so that's something I want to bring into the next one. This could be like friendship, love. That's definitely something. Companionship. You know? Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a text. I do want to stop at a major, though. I always go until I get a major because it gives me a good, like, general summary. Alright, we got the Chariot. It's very interesting. I always think about the Chariot as you're going somewhere, you know? Whether you like it or not, you're still moving forward. Because he's not driving. He's not steering. He's just being picked up and moved. And so I guess this kind of is pointing out that the next month's gonna come. Whether or not I leave the bad stuff, leave the unhelpful stuff behind or not, or bring it with me, whether I have all that baggage or not, I'm still gonna be moving forward no matter what. It's very interesting. I want one more. You'll never guess. That is a great card for this reading. Well, and I've gotten this card before, and how I always read this card is, look at the way that death is traveling through this battleground. With reverence, with silence, with the understanding that with the ending of things comes beginnings. You know? Even the priest is revering death as he passes by. And guess what? In the background, what is that? A sunrise. It could be a sunset to me. In the context of this card, it seems like that is a sunrise. The sun rising on the new month, the sun setting on the old one, the cycle beginning again. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's it. I think that'll do it. It's a pretty significant major arcana card, I suppose. Email preyhoundforever@gmail.com if you'd like any silly advice about silly things, or even if you'd like to give suggestions about like what you'd like me to read or review the lyrics of. I'm down for suggestions. And yeah, that about sums it up. I appreciate you being here. This was a fun one this time. I think I had a lot to say, even though I actually wasn't going to film this. I was like, I'm too tired, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm glad I did it today. Makes me feel really good. And I had a lot of fun. And as always, like and subscribe and comment down below. Thank you.